like that at some point. So
Obviously,
just
life
excited
got in the
to get
way.
off, and it sounds like it's
go
really
to
it's gonna be a
college,
good
you
time
get married,
because
you start
we
businesses,
often
things
just sit there
happen.
and talk about security all day.
Fittingly
We
enough,
never
our
get to talk
midlife
about
crisis
ourselves, so
brought
it's
us
gonna be
back
fun.
together.
Yeah,
hence the name.
yeah, we got
Older than
we
most
get really
people
good
in this
feedback
space,
because again,
but
our
we found
goal is
NFTs
it's
about a
very
year ago,
conversational,
and then
man.
we
This
said,
is
you know
just
what,
like
we're
you
really gonna
you
create a
nailed it.
company.
You got the
As
whiskey
we
in
get more
hand.
connected,
This
as
is
we
like
go into the
imagine a
metaverse,
campfire. It's
what we're
fall.
about to do
You know, we got
is
some
meeting
brews in the
people,
hand.
having
Mike's
real
already
raw
drinking. I'm already
conversations.
drinking.
We think it's
So
gonna become a long
Double
time.
Martin,
dry,
are you in?
double dry
You in?
up, West Coast IPA, baby. I live in San Diego, so it's all about the West Coast beer here.
We came up with a very
Fair enough.
mission
Martin, what are you
statement. Our
drinking?
mission statement is
I got some red wine here.
to
All right,
bring
Red
there we
wine?
go. There we
Dude,
go.
we're hitting it all.
Connection.
So
Yeah,
Mike
wine
on the
guy.
beer.
And I got one
We got a
last thing to
whiskey.
say.
We got a red wine, and I'm drinking
And I'm
hard
dead
Mountain
serious
Dew.
when I say this. I
Mountain Dew, that sounds
genuinely and
amazing.
Maddie
Dude, it is everything
we
you
were put
want it
on
to be
Earth
and
to do
more.
exactly
Oh,
what we
And there's
do.
no sugar in it, which
We
is
love doing
God.
it.
which was the reason I had to stop
Bringing
Mountain
me
Dew.
back to the Four Loco
It just
days.
puts us so
Yeah, dude.
We were
Yeah,
right
it's
back
all
and hit
dicey.
my nice.
It's funny you
restroom.
say that. Yeah, there's actually no caffeine either, so probably a good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but those look back in the day.
Hey, by the way, Martin, can you give your Twitter and that stream chat text? It's right.
It's actually the same as my handle.
At the base,
So at the Mind
and
of
the
Mark.
heart of midlife
On the
crisis.
mind of
I'm not gonna
Mark.
lie,
Oh, look at
it's
you.
Mikey G and Maddie
Okay.
Mintz.
You're the mind of
And why
Ohm,
it
the
is,
mind
is
of Mark.
because over
All right.
30 years ago,
I
I
called
met
it
this crazy
for
SOB
reference.
at the 4th grade bus.
What is
You
it?
called it
I
first.
saw
I
you
got
when I first
Oh,
laid
nice,
eyes on this.
nice.
He
I
was
gotcha.
perpendicular
All right, cool,
to the
perfect.
ground.
All right, so the only other thing I need.
to the
podcast.
ground,
I love
hanging
this. Like,
at a
getting to know
90
people
degree
instead of
off a
products.
stop
I actually
sign.
had,
And
like,
I was
I
like,
wanted to actually start
what
my
the
own
hell
podcast
did
like,
I just get
a couple
myself
years
into?
ago.
And since
Basically the
that,
same
we had a
premise. So
budding,
I love what you guys are
flourishing
doing.
relationship.
Dude, thank you.
Oh, yeah, man.
We get such insane good feedback. We know we
we
know we got the winning formula. Now it's just a matter of time and talking to awesome people like yourselves.
Fittingly enough, our midlife
That's
crisis
it.
brought us back together. Hence
Last thing
the
I need
name.
from you
We're
guys
older than most
is I
people in
need a
this space,
fun
but we
fact.
found
So when we
NFTs about a
introduce
year
you, we can
ago,
tell
and then
something
we said, you know
interesting,
what, we're
right?
really gonna
Just a
create
superlative. It does not have
As
to
we get
be
more
something
connected,
life-changing.
as we
You
go
won a
into the
Nobel Prize
metaverse,
or something like
what
that.
we're about to do
It could be,
is
you know,
meeting
you can eat 2
people
large
having
pizzas
real
in one
raw
sitting, whatever. But just
conversations. We think
something
it's gonna
interesting
become a
about
lost
you that
art. So
maybe
we're
people
here
wouldn't know.
to make that happen.
What do you guys
Bring
got
it
for
all
me?
to you
All
and
right.
help you
So,
expand, learn, and
first.
grow.
So I have
We
two.
came up with a
One's
very simple
funnier,
mission
one's
statement. That
cool.
mission
I like
statement
both.
is
Let's hear 'em. Let's see what we got.
to bring
The
back
first
the
one
lost
is
art of
that
genuine human
when
connection.
at sophomore year of college, I
And
got
I
to
got one
backpack
last
throughout
thing to
Europe.
say.
Went to like
And I'm
for
dead
5
serious
weeks. I
when
went to
say
9
this.
different countries
I
in 27 different
genuinely
cities.
and Maddie genuinely
All right,
And then-
believe
backpacked. Hold
we were
on, hold
put
on.
Earth to
Through
do
Europe.
exactly what we're doing now.
And this is gonna be you,
I need
Maddie.
those- I
I'm
need
not
those- I know.
concentrating.
Meeting new people.
I know. I need those stats
and it
again.
just gets us so
5
fucking
weeks.
excited.
5 weeks.
think you as family,
9 countries, 27
And we love
cities.
you all.
Jeez. Okay.
That's pretty
That's
badass.
legit.
And then my
that is
my
legit.
funny one.
Okay. Okay.
My funny one is on my first time skiing. I broke my ankle.
Broke your
So,
ankle first
I broke
time
my
skiing.
ankle.
When was
Yeah.
In
this?
the heart of
This
midlife
was a
crisis,
year-
not gonna
2 years
lie,
ago?
It's Mikey G.
That
and
makes
Maddie
it
Mintz.
funnier. Okay.
And why it is because over
Broke?
30 years ago,
Because
I met
everything's
this
funny when you
crazy
break. When you
SOB
fall
at
as an
the fourth
adult,
grade
it's
bus stop.
hilarious.
I swear
It's
to
pretty
you, when I
bad. It's
first
pretty
laid
funny.
eyes on
Fucking
this
hurts a
dude,
lot
he
more,
was
doesn't it?
Yeah, right?
I was sitting there on the ground, flicking
not
off like my friend taking the
horizontal to the
camera. I have a
ground,
picture of me
hanging
flicking them
at
off
a
as they
90
were on
degree
the
off
Dude,
the
see?
stop sign.
That's another
And I was
good
like,
little tidbit we
what
can
the
add.
hell
You
did I
flicked your
just get
friend
myself
off while you
into?
broke
And
your
since
ankle
that, we
on a
had
mountain.
budding, flourishing relationship and best
Yeah.
friends.
I
our
love
whole
it.
Where were you
lives.
skiing?
Obviously, life
Don't
got in
hype
the
me up
way.
like that. It wasn't
You
even a
go to
mountain. It was
college,
the
you
beginner
get
hill.
married, you start businesses, things happen.
He's on the bunny slope
Dang,
right now.
bunny
bro.
slope?
Brought us back together.
Oh
Hence the
man,
name.
I'm adding that
We're
in.
older than
That's
most
even
people in
better.
this
That
space.
now,
But we
that's
found
the
NFTs
detail
about a
that we
year
were
ago, and then
missing.
we
That's
said,
what
you know
I
we're
needed.
really gonna
Oh,
create a
that's
company.
fantastic.
As
I
we
love
get
that.
more connected, as we
Okay.
go into the metaverse,
I like it. I
what
can
we're
work with
about
that.
to do.
All right, Martin, what do we got?
People having real raw
Jeez, I don't know. You're kind of putting me on the spot here. I don't know if I have anything.
Something.
Oh, come on,
It can be
everybody's got
simple.
something.
You can be like, I love fucking football. I love pizza. It
grow.
doesn't have to be like
Came
you
up
won a
with
fucking
very
Emmy.
simple mission statement.
I
Our
I
mission
guess
statement
my
is
best one would probably be
to
that
bring
at
back
one
the
point
lost
I
art of
was
genuine
like
human
semi-pro in
connection.
COD.
And
There you
I got
go,
one that's like,
dude. Come
All right,
on,
semi
bro.
pro.
serious when I say it.
It's so
I
funny because we always
genuinely
ask this
and
question,
not
and there's the
genuinely
initial reaction from the human
put
brain
on
is like,
earth
bro,
to
I'm
do
not
exactly what
interesting.
we're
And then we
doing.
pry a little bit, and they're
We
like, oh
love
yeah, I was
doing
a
this.
semi-pro
We love
COD
meeting
gamer, and I'm like,
people,
yeah, that's
and it
fucking
just gets us
interesting,
so
bro.
freaking
So I
excited.
love
So-
it.
His family,
Okay, so semi-pro
and we love you
at
all.
COD. Okay, what else? And then give me like something. I don't know, what was like something crazy that happened in college or some childhood insane event or something like that? Give me something.
So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's gonna become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's gonna become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's going to become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. What up, fizza, folks? Second time we're live on Twitter Spaces, and we're coming to you hot on YouTube. Dude, already had a great pre-conversation. Apparently, I didn't mute part of it, so you did hear us talking about life a little bit as the starting soon video was rolling.
There it is.
Dude, and Martin, I told you I'd fuck it up, and not only did I forget to mute and they heard part of the pre-show, you both are right now. So I told you 100% chance I'd already screwed this up, done it twice, and we're barely in. But other than that, I am freaking pumped to be here because this is what I love to do. This is what Maddie loves to do. We're building an empire with you all in the Web3 space and beyond. I'm fucking jacked. How about you? What are you feeling, Matt? Maddie, you amped as I am today?
Dude, I want to be as amped as you are right now. I'm loving it. Mikey's dropping F-bombs 10 seconds in. It's going to be a good show, folks. I know he's got a beer he'll tell us about, but no, man, life's good. It was a good day, good clients, no complaints. I told you fall's my favorite time. So I'm in that golden window where like I'll go outside just to be outside, even if it's like cardio or running I don't normally like, but it's too nice outside, man. It's perfect. So life's good. It's going to be a great show. What are you drinking?
Oh, bro, just you wait. So I got this thing called Slice of, I forget what it's called. Slice of something. And it's in my, see, this is why I'm not going to tell you. It's in my Yeti koozie. By the way, if you all guys don't have a Yeti koozie yet, this fucking thing is tight. You want to talk about keeping a drink cold for a long time? Yeti solves crack the code. But it's a West Coast IPA. Now, this West Coast is double dry hopped. If you all don't know what that means they hop the beer after fermentation. Not after fermentation, after the boil while it's fermenting. So after all the boiling's been done and the yeast is in there and it's eating all the little sugars and creating alcohol, they throw a ton of hops on the top. And what that really does is it doesn't add to the bitterness, but it gives you that sweet, sweet, sweet floral aroma. And it makes, because remember, smell is a massive part of your taste. So it smells delicious as you drink it. So that's what I'm drinking, baby.
Man, another lesson in craft beer. I love it.
Craft beer
You're
snob
serious
right
about
here.
it, man. Yeah, no, you are definitely a craft beer snob. We have some other drinking aficionados here on the stream, so let's get this thing started.
You need to host a beer class. That was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, man.
Right?
Dude, that's just
Right?
that's just a fraction of the stupid knowledge about craft beer I have in my head.
I love it.
But yeah, Maddie, let's do some introductions, man. Get this show on the road, dog.
Absolutely. So this is going to be an excellent show because we have different topics and different themes. But in this particular one, this is one that I know Mikey was really excited and I'm excited about because this is one of those value adds for the whole community, right? We all win by being more secure. So we're going to talk about that. But let me tell you who we got here today. So we got we got Martin. First, before I even say your little fun fact, man, I got to know, is this like an electrical engineer thing? Did somebody have is your dad an engineer? Is that what happened?
So the actual deep, like spiritual meaning of Om actually means the sound of the universe.
That's probably the most powerful thing I've heard in like a month. That's legit. The sound of the universe.
Yes,
it's a good sound.
I think if I ever come out with a CD You heard me. I said CD. We're called Midlife Crisis. If I ever come out with a CD, it's going to be called The Sound of the Universe. Right there.
That's fucking-
Boom.
Dude, you nailed
That
it.
is fantastic.
That's It's fire. I
So,
buy it.
so, fun fact about Ohm here. This dude backpacked Europe in a total of 5 weeks. He was in 9 different countries and 27 cities. So the trip that we all say we're going to do to Europe one day, he actually did it. And he did it before he was retired, which is a big deal because I feel like most people
Yes.
like tell themselves they're going to keep doing it. He actually did it. And that's legit. 27 cities. Dude, which was your favorite?
Okay, so this one's hard because from a beauty perspective, Prague. Prague was fucking phenomenal. But
Okay.
talk about Italy. Italy's architecture, like one of the biggest things when I travel, I love architecture. So Spain, Italy really held my heart when it came to architecture. But Rome, and I've always had like a fascination with like Roman, like the whole Roman Empire and like all this stuff. So really, really interested when I went to Rome. Florence, and I went to Florence. I went to Venice. Venice smells like shit, but it's cool. But Rome is sweet. They had so many it was a degenerate trip. Okay, I was like drunk like 90% of the trip, but Rome specifically was beautiful. Like the Colosseum, the architecture, everything. You walk around the Roman forums, like everything was so cool in Rome. Like really, really vibed with it. It's really hard, but then the other part is like it's hard for me to pick a favorite city. And sorry, I'm rambling, but Amsterdam. Amsterdam is just the vibes are immaculate.
Ooh.
Clean. There's like canals everywhere. It's just scenic everywhere you go. Fun fact, okay? So I just played the new Call of Duty campaign.
Hell yes, I did too. How amazing was it?
Yeah. So like they had a scene in Amsterdam. That is literally like I don't know if you can see this, but it's like the background of my phone, and it was like the exact fucking scene. And
I
I'm
was
like,
in
"There's
that.
no way."
I was there at Call of Duty, dog.
Yeah, bro.
Dang. So they nailed it.
You, bro. I thought I saw you. It's fucked
Dude,
up.
they nailed it. That's what happened. So I love it. I do think Amsterdam might have been on the list because of the degen part of the trip. But you know what, man? All great cities and all great memories. Another fun fact about Ohm. This one's a little bit of humor. So it's always funny. Everybody watches YouTube clips or like TikToks. It's always funny when adults fall, right? And I mean, like, within reason, you know what I'm all trying to say. But it's funny, like when somebody rolls an ankle or something like this. Well, this guy decides. How old are you now?
I'm 24.
24. So 2 years ago, so he makes the big mistake of waiting till full-grown adulthood to say, you know what, skiing can't be that hard. Decides to go skiing a couple years back. Immediately breaks his ankle, and the best part is, folks, he was on the bunny slope.
That's the killer of the story right
Did
there.
not even make it to the actual slopes. Just like literally on like the 1 degree gradient snap. So but it's okay. We're talking about a tech company here, man. It's okay. You don't have to be an athlete. Have you gone skiing since?
No, but in the words of Zagabond, it's a learning experience. So.
All right.
I like that.
I can take it.
That's
all
a
right.
good way to
All
put
right.
it. Good way to put a bow on a shitty situation.
Well, man, welcome to the show. How you doing? You having a good time?
I'm having a fantastic time. How are you guys?
I'm amazing, man. What are you drinking there?
I'm drinking some Lefroy. Okay, wait, hold on. I tried to sound all professional about this. It's a single malt. God damn it, single malt Scotch whiskey. All right, it's one of the most divisive Scotch whiskeys, loved by those who enjoy medicinal smoky flavors.
Ooh, that would be count me out.
Ooh.
I hate medicine and I hate smoky shit.
Yeah, but you like the danky stuff. That's just bizarre. But it is what it is. Okay, all right. I like this. Anytime you include, if you're talking about alcohol and you use words like smoky and medicinal, you sound like you know what you're talking about anyway. So it's going to be good. Which brings us to guest number 2, Martin. Welcome to the show. Fun fact about Martin: we were talking about Call of Duty and the new campaign. Martin was a semi-pro player of Call of Duty. Now, I got to ask you, how long ago was this?
Oh, it's like 4 or 5 years ago now. I'm
4 or
pretty
5
washed
years ago.
now. Yeah.
All right. Do you still dabble in a little COD
Yeah, I
from year to
dabble. I
year?
dabble. I'm a big gamer, so yeah, Halo, Call of Duty, RuneScape, all of the bunch.
Is Call of Duty your favorite, or is that just the one you were the best at?
That was the best at. Yeah, I think
Best
Halo
at?
has my heart. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I do like that. I do like some Halo. Now, this is another fun little fact about Martin, right? Martin was a computer science major, but decided because he's drinking. What are you drinking right now?
I've got some red wine here, a cab.
A cab. Okay. He took a class just on wines simply because he likes red wine as a comp sci major. As if you didn't have enough credits to take, he throws on an additional one to get a little alcohol during the day. Because what could go wrong? Little code, little alcohol, little Cabernet. It's all going to be good. But your favorite is, and I'm going to mess this up. Is it a Josh Cabernet?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. All right. I nailed it from Napa Valley. And, that's kind of out your way, Mike, or at least where you used to live, right?
Oh yeah, man. 40 minutes from Napa. It was a beautiful place. Expensive as shit though. I will say, I lived in Livermore, which is East Bay, and you always just say you're from the Bay because when you say to someone, "Yeah, I live in Livermore," they look at you like an alien with three heads. But I will say, Livermore has close to 100 wineries, and it's a quarter of the price, and the wine's just as good. So if you do go out, go to Napa for
Ooh.
one day just to experience it, because you should do that. But then take the other 3 days and go to Livermore, save yourself some money, and drink good wine as well.
Dude, I
Another
love
tip
it.
of the day. I got a lot of drinking tips
That's
today.
good. That's good.
Mike's
alpha.
got
I'm
all the
thinking
tips.
of a California winery trip actually next year. So
There you
I'll
go,
let you know.
bro. I go
Yeah,
to
I'll let you know.
Livermore.
Big
I'm
time.
telling you, dog, the wine is just as good, and Livermore's a fun little town. You're not far from San Francisco. But you do have to do the Napa thing. I'm not saying don't go there, but it's just so freaking expensive at this point.
Yeah, man. So you're drinking a Cabernet. We're all got drinks. I'm probably the least sophisticated. Y'all know what I'm drinking. Hard Mountain Dew. Nothing crazy there. Martin,
it's
welcome to the show,
crazy,
man.
but
How you doing?
Great, feeling great. How about you guys?
Oh, man, we're loving life, man. Mikey, are you jazzed? Everything up and running? Everything good? All the kinks?
Dude, we
Out of the
sound
hose when
good.
it
We
comes to
look good, which means it's time. And it's time
Well,
for. Oh, wait a
Not
sec.
just look good, but hold on. You got some stuff in the background there, Mikey, and you got a fresh cut. So, I mean, brought to you by pick any beard product out there or hair product out there, and Mikey G could represent it right now, just in case the sponsors are out there listening. Pert Plus, you heard me. And what's behind you?
I got a little IKEA, I don't even know what it's called, but it's a little hanging board. So I got like my mics and my extra cords and headphones and shit up there. So it's kind of cool. It's very convenient, looks clean. Figured it to
Fun.
spice up the background a little bit. And now I'm a true gamer, streamer, YouTube personality person, I guess.
I know. Martin Ohm, here's a fun fact for you about Mike. That board behind him is the most organized thing in Mike's life. Just so you know.
100%.
You want to know something fun? That is the most organized thing I've ever seen happen that involved Mikey G, and I think it's fantastic. This is a step down this is the right direction for you, Mike. I'm proud of you.
I am chaotic. I'm a creative person. I was told once in my life that controlled chaos is the method of operandi for Mikey G, and I'm gonna embrace the shit out of controlled chaos.
Do it.
That's what I say when my wife says shit's a little fucked up and on the desk. I said, babe, this is controlled chaos. I know where everything is. You might not, but I do.
Love it.
All right, awesome opening. Glad we got to know here a little bit about you guys. I had talked to probably a couple weeks ago at this point. We had met through a mutual alpha server. He was chatting, and I said, this guy is definitely interested. Looked at his profile, and I was like, shit, he does security. And I was like, match made in heaven. We got to figure out how to get him on the show. Had a conversation. And now we're at the point, the world famous midlife crisis question. I did not tell you both in the beginning here. I usually do. You're on top of the stream. Mario on the bottom. So I'm going to ask, always go to you first, and then I'll go to you, Mar. And then that we'll kind of go from top to bottom like that. I'll ask you, first, the world famous midlife crisis question, which is, how did you get to the seat you're sitting in today? please give us Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3. We have had people go as far back as 4-year-old, babies in the crib, elementary school, middle school, college, wherever you want to go. Take us on that journey, man. We're excited.
Oh man, I don't know if you guys are ready.
Uh,
All right,
we're ready.
let me take it back to the good old days of Minecraft. Okay.
Ah, yes.
So, I was playing on this beautiful Minecraft faction server, right? You know, being the competitive little fuck I am. Playing on faction server, running shit, made a clan. It was called You Mad Bro, and like we were just shitting on people. And next thing you know, this guy gets all mad. All right. And he has my Skype. This was back in the day when Skype, you could just go to a Skype resolver, pull someone's IP address. All right. So this dude pulls my IP address. I'm a little pleb, like I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, oh, I'm just playing Minecraft, man. I'm a PvP god, you know, just running around doing my
And
shit.
how old are you at this point? Like
I
roughly, just roughly.
roughly, I probably like 12, 13.
Okay,
I
that
love
Okay.
it.
changes the story. I'm loving it. Keep going.
All right, so I'm like 12, 13, I'm doing my shit, playing this game, and this dude gets my IP address. So as you know, or you might not know, there's a thing called a booter. So back in the day, like you go on hack forums, you were a little script kiddie, you would just go and buy a booter or something like that. This dude finds my IP address, boots me offline. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And that's when I learned what a dynamic IP address was. And I switched my IP router configurations, unplugged my router, replugged it, got back online, gave him a nice little middle finger. And that's when I got into security. Won't go too much into that, but I definitely had a response. And that's when I got into security and learned like what the fuck was up. And at least like to the extent that I was a script kiddie at this time. So very much like had no idea just and what a script kiddie is for those who don't know.
I was about
It's
to say, bro,
Thank you.
we
Thank you.
are called midlife crisis. So you're dropping like alpha
Yes.
pleb script kitty. I am so lost already, but I love
Listen.
every second of this.
And as another disclaimer, our hacking knowledge came from the movie Hackers, which came out in the 90s.
You don't even know what that
and
movie
all I
is,
know
do
is you have to use a RISC
I know what it
computer
is. I
to
just didn't-
hack into the Gibson, so that way the bad guy from Mario Brothers doesn't take over the oil rig. That's about as much hacking knowledge as I have.
Yep.
So if it's anything beyond that, we're gonna, if it's like, what is it, the little blue book with the guy with the pink shirt on it or something like
Right.
that, that's about as good as we
So,
got.
first piece of alpha. If you're just interested in security, fantastic show. Go watch Mr. Robot. That's actually real life hacking. The funny thing is, people didn't like. There were certain tools
Ooh.
that the show because they were so accurate that they didn't want to use like exact tools, and people out of fandom recreated those tools. So those tools do exist now.
Wow.
But Mr.
Nice.
Robot is like actual hacking. That is how it's done, and so that's a great show. Go watch that for reference. Script kiddie. So let me define what a script kiddie is. A script kiddie is someone who uses software made by someone else for nefarious or hacker purposes or whatever the fuck it would be, right? So in this case, this kid bought a booter. He probably had no idea what he was doing. He just bought a booter because he wanted to boot some people offline. So he basically a booter is it's a form of DDoS. So what DDoS is a distributed denial of service attack. So basically they get a whole bunch of servers to overload requests to your server and basically it crashes your server. That's what a DDoS is. So this guy
Jeez.
DDoSed me. And that's when I learned what a static versus the dynamic IP address was. Got my IP address different. Found out what the Skype resolver was. Blacklisted I paid $5, some shit like that, to blacklist. Imagine you had to pay $5 for security on Skype. Fuck you, Skype. Fuck you. They basically, I paid $5 for this blacklisting service to blacklist my Skype name from being IP resolved because I found out this was the API that an API is an application programming interface. So it's like what people use to communicate with different programs without necessarily going to their website.
Mhm.
But basically, this was the API that was used for like all the Skype resolvers and their mothers out there. And everybody was using this dude. So I just blacklisted myself on there. It was like $5. Nobody was resolving my Skype address anymore. I was happy and they were not happy. So that's where it really started. That's where my first dive into security actually started. So that's when I got interested, and I knew that I was always interested in something like that. Like then I got really into things like hack the box, capture the flag, different things like that, which like further increased my security knowledge. And like as I progressed, I got better. But to be honest with you, I was a script kiddie up until like 2, 3 years ago. Um, so like that's really just to give you some context, because like being a script kiddie, it really just means you don't know how to code at this point. Like you're
Right.
just security, you're doing security stuff, but like you're not necessarily like a programmer. You don't understand how to program. You don't understand how to build these tools or whatever.
Yeah.
The people use everybody's open source tools that were out there on the
Right.
market, whatever. So that's kind of where my first like dive into security happened. And that's when I got really interested in the space, and I always knew I wanted to do something in security. So that's where my passion really grew from a young age. Like, so this is a little weird, but to anyone who's listening who might be Indian or Asian out there, your parents will tell you when you're younger, you want to be a doctor. It's not necessarily the case. They tell you that because they want you to aspire to do something that is like financially responsible as well as like something that's a good career path, right? So I went to
Yeah.
my like, I want to go into security. This is what's interesting to me. I like tech. This is what I want to do. And they're very receptive. So they were like, yeah, go for it. So then that's when I really shift my mindset. And I was like, fuck being a doctor, fuck doing all that shit. I'm going down the route that I want to go. So that was security, computer science, basically just being a tech geek. So that's kind of where I started my journey. And then fast forward a little bit, I get to college. I take a class, computer science. So my major in college was computer science with a focus in information security. I'll get into why the information security part of that was bullshit in college.
Mm.
Computer science was the main focus of the course. So
Okay.
Martin and I had we met in college actually. So I've known Martin for a very long time now. And we met through like, I think it was CS2, but like realistically, we both went through the pain that was CS1 with Mikhail Nestorenko. I'm calling you out by name, so if you ever watch this is hilarious. Mikhail Nestorenko is a professor at the university I went to. You can look him up, so I guess I can say the university, but Kent State University. Went to Kent State University. Mikhail Nestorenko was the CS professor. This dude was notorious. He had this pointer stick like this long, right? And he would point at kids in class and like ask them questions until they cried. I'm not even
Oh
shooting.
man.
He made people cry in that class, and he laughed. That dude was a G, and he was hilarious. Had like an 80% fail rate. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where I got into computer science. So fast forward another couple of years, I'm in like CS3, which is like a 4,000 level class over there. So like basically you're ending closer to your end of your degree. Probably my senior, maybe the end of my junior year. I can't remember. But somewhere around there. This dude, okay, I cannot like this dude. I have so many stories about him. But he one time came into class. He goes, students, my teaching style is like waterboarding, slow and painful, but effective. And he had this Russian hat that he would always wear too, and he would always talk about how he used to be in the Russian army. I swear to God, this dude's like a sleeper agent. Like without a doubt. And I'm not
Jeez.
spreading FUD, okay? I'm not spreading FUD, but this dude might be a sleeper agent. Like,
Well, luckily he's a computer genius, so what could go wrong?
yeah.
Awesome.
My life was fulfilled at the moment. Like I went into my CS lab, and he goes, "This is pretty good." Like I finished my lab before I finished my before I went into the lab, right? So I already had the code done because I was trying to get out of there, go and hang with my friends and shit. So I showed up, showed him my code, and he's like, "This is pretty good," and I'm like, That's
Dude,
all I needed in my life. Like I didn't
that's
need
it.
Right.
Validation.
the
Yeah.
validation. All I ever needed in my entire life. Like I'm still thriving on that moment.
Right.
So so basically that was CS. That's how I got into the space. Why I said this information security part of it was really bullshit. The courses were not thorough. I knew more than what the courses were offering, so that's why I called it bullshit. Like it was super easy exams. Not that this might be the case anymore, but at least when I took it, information security and like security in general was something that you had like an interest in, and like something that you spent time outside of school, like researching and doing stuff. And like at this time, I was doing a lot of hack the box, capture the flag, learning, and like getting familiar with the whole concepts. Um, and then fast forward a little bit more, I'm out of college. I start my career. I work at Accenture. I do like cybersecurity consulting. So like right now, like without I'm not allowed to say too much, but like the projects I work on, like I do offensive security. So I get to like hack and stuff like that for clients and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So that's where I'm at right now. And you know, in that meantime, in this past year, starting January is when we actually started Wallet Card. So it's been a side hustle all this time, but you know, we're just really excited to keep grinding and you know, really exciting stuff in the future.
Dude,
Love it.
you gave us a lot. We can unpack that. Maddie, do you want to ask a couple quick questions before we go to Martin, or do you want to go straight to Martin?
Well, just because it's on the mind, I do want to take. So, what was you said the Minecraft when he booted you off Minecraft? Was that like the defining moment? Like basically,
Yeah.
was that the
Yeah.
moment you were like, I could do this?
No, it was like more so like not that I could do this, you know, because of course I don't do anything nefariously or never have done anything nefariously.
No, not what he did, but like in terms of like security and like I could do this in terms of I can be involved in this
Yeah, yeah.
space. Like, that was
So
when
that
that
was
really hit you.
yeah, that's when I first like got into tech because like I was always a techie, even leading up to that point. But like that's when I really was like, I like this. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to research. This is what I'm interested in. That's like that defining moment for me. And I was fortunate enough to have that at a young age. Like a lot of people don't have
Yeah,
that until like they're through college. So I was
that's
fortunate to have that passion or like that drive to want to do something in security at a young age. And that's why I brought it back to that story. That was really the story that kind of like influenced my decision and like where I wanted to go with my life. As far and I know
Right.
it's so fucking funny to say that it was Minecraft, but it's not Minecraft alone. It's literally the idea of like
yeah.
I have to respond to someone hacking me and like DDoSing me. So like that's where I really had that realization that I don't want to be vulnerable on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Matt, do you have any follow up
Yeah.
questions? I actually have a question that's popped in my head.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So you say something interesting, and we've talked to people all over the country. I mean, all over the world, and with different backgrounds. And you mentioned, you know, being from an Indian background, and you know, being a doctor or a lawyer, something that's going to make money and give you financial stability in the future is very important, right? But then you also do mention that you were able to kind of convince or explain to your parents that tech is a way there too. What I'm interested in is obviously coming from that, like my parents didn't go to college, right? I'm the first one to go to college in a while. And I just went to college because I was told that's what I needed to do and I had good enough grades, right? I'm assuming your upbringing was drastically different than mine in the sense of like the expectations of being successful, right? Now, what's interesting to me in what you said was I found at a very young age what I was into. Do you think that's a product of your upbringing and knowing in the back of your head, shit, I need to figure out how to make money and have a stable career and be successful? Or was that just an inherent knack or ability that you had? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
So it was just something like I was like really passionate about. I was interested. Like I was researching it out of my own volition, you know.
Right.
That's when I knew that I was like genuinely interested in something. And like this was at a young age where it was very developmental. So like I think that had a profound impact on like the way that I chose my careers and like how I went down it. And my parents were supportive, right? Like when I said that, there was no like pushback. They just wanted to know that I was going to do something that was like leading into the future. And like if you
Yeah.
think tech isn't the future, like there's I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
right. No, but I
and
love
they saw it, you know. So
right.
like that was awesome on their part, being very receptive as parents to like understand that you know that is something that you know your kid's passionate about, and it seems like a good field, and they have a good head on their mind. Like you know, like that's what basically happened in that case. So I was very fortunate. My parents are awesome.
Yeah, and you know,
That's cool.
selfishly, I like that response because I actually do believe, you know, if you're told to do something your whole life from a young age, but you're not passionate about it, that usually doesn't end well. And
Yeah.
so it's really cool that you found something that you were into through your own research, playing Minecraft, however how that happened. And then just to think about the random instances of you finding it, right? Like if you weren't DDoSed or attacked, then maybe you would have never like gone down that rabbit hole as early on, you know? And so really cool to hear your experience as to why you got pumped up about it. So thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking. This is fantastic. I really like this because, the experience is a lot different. Like, you expect to go on a podcast. We do a lot of Twitter spaces
Yeah.
and they're very educational. And I'm very, passionate about education, but like this is a complete like flip on the head. So I'm really, really excited to be here and be able to talk about things that are completely different and out of spectrum. So
Yeah, and I know the special
That's
thing
awesome.
too. I appreciate that, but I also can tell you're just freaking a passionate human being. So this makes it
Yeah.
enjoyable for us as well. Maddie, any
100%.
questions before I go on to Martin quick?
No, I think we're good. I mean, actually, real quick, what did you want to do before that moment? Did you have something before you were leaning towards? Okay, so you went from not knowing to know. Okay, got it, dude.
mhm.
Like you said, you're fortunate that you found that out young. A lot of people really work. It's hard to know what resonates in your heart. Like, what makes you happy? What gives you fulfillment? It's hard to kind of put a real pin in that and decide what that is. And so being able to find that, and then not only that, kind of direct your education and passion towards it. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I'm excited I'm excited to see more about what you guys are doing, knowing that that was how young you've been passionate about this. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. Let's go over to Martin.
And quick note before I pop over to Martin. Feel lucky, bro, because it took me a major depressive order and a midlife crisis for me to find my true inner self. So the fact that you found that shit at 13 playing Minecraft, props to you, brother. But yeah, we all get there in different ways.
Yeah, man.
So Martin, man, the man, the myth, the legend, on the other half of Wallet Guard. Same question to you, dude. How did you get to the seat you're sitting in today? Give us the Star Wars episode 1, 2, and 3. We're excited.
So yeah, glad to be here. And I think I'll also kick it off with a video game example because I think there really is a lot of analogies to be drawn. I think like for me, it was like I've always been a gamer. Like playing N64, GameCube, yeah, all that stuff back as a kid. Mario Baseball, Pokemon. I've been a gamer since forever, right? So, and I'll tie this back into NFTs. So, like, I think when I started like really getting into COD, like I said, like whatever, early teens, whatever that was.
Hmm.
I think I noticed something that was I'm an ultra competitive person. So like if I'm doing something, I'm like gonna be the best at it. Like period. like
Right.
um, so I think like when I started noticing like interesting things, like I got really involved in COD to the point where I like was editing COD montages actually. Like so if are you guys familiar with like FaZe Clan, like those
Yes.
Yeah.
types of yeah, right. So like this was like I literally remember like FaZe Clan year one like being founded. Now it's like I don't know, $1 billion company. They're on the stock exchange now, right? And it's like from an early age, I think like really getting ingrained in like seeing that internet communities like would be a thing. Um, like I feel like I was just like in the exact right like generation where like that started to kick off, right? Because YouTube had just came around, and like that was exactly the point where like these communities were like centralizing around, and it was like I just remember like always having like such an esteem, like analogizing them with like rock stars as a kid,
Right.
and
Yeah.
see that with like just how much traction they were getting. They get like every time they put out a new video, it was like people would go nuts. So tying that back into NFTs, like I think like it just works so perfectly that like I just found like something I was really interested in from an early age,
Hmm.
and get back into like the editing thing. Like I actually got involved in like a COD clan where I was like editing montages. We had like 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I would like post videos and edit videos for people with like I think I edited a video for a guy in FaZe at one point, and it was like that kind of like got me like okay like yeah I can kind of figure this stuff out because I was
Yeah.
like totally like self-taught, just kind of like just really inspired I guess by it, just went down the rabbit hole, and I was like okay like this this is cool. And that was like, I guess during like middle school, high school, I was doing stuff like that. I actually got scammed while doing that one time. Funny story to tie it back into wallet guard. Like I remember like some guy hired me and it was like $20 and I was like a 12-year-old kid. And like I gave him the video and then he just like ghosted me. And I was like, shit, like that was like $20 I should have had.
Right.
Like, so like, I think tying it back into security and everything, like exactly like Ohm said, like security is, you actually do learn a lot about security by like getting involved in stuff like that, because like you said, like I completely forgot that Skype would let you pull people's IP address. Like that was a memory I didn't even remember I had till you just said that. So it's really funny that Ohm actually has that same like experience.
Right.
I've never actually talked to him about that before, so this is like new to me as well. So it's really cool to hear that, and it's like I think that definitely like sparked the beginning, not like that, you know, not like the defining moment by any means, like similar to Ohm's, but just kind of always like knowing that I could like reverse engineer something and like get to that point.
Okay.
So yeah, getting back to like the computer science side, I majored in computer science and business in college. Met Ohm through that, so we've known each other for a while, and I think I was in crypto since like 2017. I remember when like Ethereum was really starting to pick up. That's kind of when I got involved. I don't remember why. I think just a random like YouTube video had popped up on my feed and like showed like Ethereum plus 200% over the last month, and it was just right. It was right when altcoins started really becoming like a thing, like
Yeah.
ICOs in particular.
Yeah.
And that was like, I don't know. I like I said earlier about like just wanting to be the best at something. Like I was like, all right, this is it. Like I'm gonna like be the absolute best at understanding like the next ICO. And actually, really funny story about that. Do you guys know the token Omize Go?
No.
OMG. Oh, it's like
Oh
it was
yeah,
yeah, coin. Yeah, it was like it was really small, and I was like, this was right when my journey started out, and like a couple months in, I find this token. It's like I was just scrolling through Coin Market Cap, and it was like number 42, and I like just like started researching it, and I think it was like Vitalik was on the board or something like that, and it was at $1. And I made a YouTube video about it, and actually, it like a week later it was at like $10. And so like my first experience with ICOs and crypto was like immensely positive. So I think that helped a lot.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of
Made a good
course.
call.
But yeah, it was like I'd known about crypto for a while before that, so it was like, you know, but that was like definitely the spark. And then like tying it back to like the story earlier, like I think like, yeah, I've always like really been interested in like internet communities, internet culture, stuff like that. So NFTs just like really made sense, like especially when people were like pitching it as like, okay, like these things could be deep, like in a game economy, like
Right.
that's full where I see all this going. I think it's really a matter of when and not if. Obviously, the game companies are quite opposed to it as of now, but I mean, like Reddit, for example, just yesterday announced digital collectibles, right? So
Yeah.
all it really takes is a couple companies like that to make the shift, and you're going to start to see like once one does it, you're going to really see like the floodgates open.
Dude.
And
keep on going. Keep on going.
What else you got?
No, that was all.
Yeah, so we like to say this. I love the stories. Good information, but we're not letting you off that easy. And we're not letting you off that easy because you totally neglected on how you even became a pro COD player. Where did you grow up? Why, computer engineering and security? So I want to,
and business.
yeah, I want to
Comp sci and business.
rewind a little bit there.
Sure.
So I'll start with take us through the COD Pro days, because I think that's interesting, or semi-pro, right? Did you just get into it because your buddies were playing it, and in that competitive nature, like you said, just took a hold of you, and you're like, I got to be at the top of the leaderboard? Talk to us about that experience.
Yeah, it was definitely that. I mean, I kind of like found my way into it like that because it's like, you know, I was like looking for people who wanted to also be pro. So I think like kind of manifesting it like that was like, I didn't really have anyone like that I was like playing with that were like, my real life friends that would be like that level. But yeah, like I would always like search out for teams and stuff like that. So like having that competitive nature, I guess, was the driving factor there.
And what did that life look like? I mean, you're playing COD like 10, 12 hours a day, or was this just like something you did on your fun time? I'm very intrigued as to what it takes to even become semi-pro.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I mean, it's pretty much like I think similar to, I guess, like coming up through like normal sports. I guess you could say like you would have different teams. You could compete on like websites like game battles, look for teammates, whatnot. And what like I guess the progression would probably look similar to like you find a team, you're competing, you can do tournaments there,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can start to win like real money. So you like you have to practice a ton, like 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day to like get to that point. But like I was just playing COD, like I was just doing something I was like normally like happy to do anyway.
Right,
So
right.
Sure.
and I think like the difference would be like you really have to like take ownership of like where you want to go with it, because you have to like all what organizations will look for is like you want to stream, they want someone who's going to like bring in revenue for them, views for them, so that's a
Right.
big part of it. Or you could just like really be like top notch and like go and try and win, right? Like
Right.
that's the other way. And so yeah, I think like finding the right team is probably really the hardest part. As with anything, is surrounding yourself with the right people, like grinding with them, like practicing on and off, like like you have to be consistent. So, yeah.
No, I love that. I think that's a good insight. And then going back, even before that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start before computer science. I'm gonna start with uh, the
What's up,
yeah. Go ahead.
I just got let you know, just 30 minutes. We're good.
Okay, cool,
Cool.
awesome. That's super helpful. Um,
Yeah.
The competitive nature, I would love to hear. Does that come from playing sports, playing games at a young age? Were you in elementary school, middle school? Like when did you figure this out, or where do you think that came from?
That's a hard one. I mean, I don't know. I think it's definitely, I would say, a lot of my family is like very competitive like that, so I think it's definitely
Mhm.
ingrained in you like that,
Mhm.
through your parents. Uh, my brother's the same way, so that's why I would explain it that way.
Are you younger, older?
Younger.
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
probably
that right there.
drives a lot of that, is
Yep.
just the competition between the brother and trying to take the brother down, because I didn't have that because I have a younger sister, so it was a different, more of like a definitely like a mentor looking up to role, whereas like
Protector.
protector, where if I had a little brother, I'd probably just be like hyper competitive with them.
We
So
played
here's
sports like as a kid as well, so I think like even then we were always like pushing each other.
Yeah,
all
that
right.
makes
What'd
sense.
you play?
Baseball.
Baseball. Nice.
Second
The
base.
pastime.
Yeah, I quit baseball
love
in
it.
fourth grade because my knees hurt because I was a catcher.
Yeah, I think I quit around fourth grade as well.
I was like,
Yeah.
enough of this shit. This is boring and my knees hurt. I'm out.
Luckily, you went to tennis, Mike, which is great on the knees. So
Especially on the ankles. It's good on the shoulder too. Every time I raise my shoulder, it just clicks, a loud click, because of the thousands of serves that I've done.
That sounds
there you
really
go.
healthy, by the way.
Oh, it's not healthy at all.
That sounds healthy.
That's right.
All right, Maddie, I'll let you go. I know you got a couple questions for our man, Martin.
Yeah. So it was computer science and business. I want to know where the business came from. What was that about? Was that just somebody said,
I mean,
"Hey, did you have an interest in it?" What was that about?
no, not that. It's actually because I couldn't pass normal computer science. So I switched to business, but I had a couple credits in it, so I stuck with it. I got a minor in computer science, and so like now I'm like a software engineer, right? I work at Rocket Mortgage as a software engineer, and it's like it kind of came full circle because I had like the experience to do that. They I took a couple internships that allowed me to have like enough knowledge, I guess, to somehow get a job. But yeah, no, it was very much I just was really bad at math in college. Maybe it's the teacher, maybe it's me. I don't know. Calc 1 just not my thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was at a crossroads, so I was like, I can retake this class, and like I was struggling in CS2, and so I just decided, an IT major within the business program was like a better fit.
A quick tidbit,
Okay.
I'd say Martin is a fucking phenomenal programmer. All right, so like anybody who like goes through a business major and like also like wants to do like coding, like the one thing I always say about education, especially in computer science, is like you're better self-taught than you are like through an education. So I just want
Yeah.
to say, like, let me clarify, like Martin is a phenomenal programmer.
Right.
That should be no reflection at
Yeah,
all.
no, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's immediately where my head was going. So like,
Yeah.
you are now a software engineer programmer for Rocket Mortgage. Can you tell us, because there are probably people that are going to watch this or in the audience that are interested about it, and like Om just said, there's a lot of on-the-job training. Can you just like kind of explain to us the drastic difference of being a programmer for Rocket Mortgage and then learning about it in school? I'd love to hear that from your brain.
Yeah, let me see if I can pick it. So I think the major difference is like really theory in college. It's definitely like college teaches you how to learn, right? So you'll learn the fundamentals there. But again, it really is up to you to go and use that. Um, like it gives you a framework to think about something or to research something like a database, learning how to compare the two, or like learning which programming language you should use for a certain task is like really important when you're building like a production level system. So
Hmm.
that I think like I love self-taught because it like YouTube especially has opened up that possibility for so many people, and it's like the first step to getting them to learn. And I think that's the biggest thing you can get someone to do is like figure out that they have the ability to do this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But but I think that there is a lot to be learned from college, and also from, more importantly, I would definitely say like I've learned a lot more on the job than in school.
Right.
That's like really just like looking at different code bases, whether it was internal tools or just a public GitHub repository. That's where you're going to learn the best practices.
Right.
And then I guess on top of that, like there's just certain things you just have to like really hunker down on and learn yourself.
Right. And
Yeah.
so to follow up on that, and then I'll let you go, Maddie, because I'm just in a flow right now. To be a phenomenal programmer, like Om just said, could you share with our audience, or again, anybody who might learn this, what do you think maybe the top 2 to 3 kind of qualities or characteristics that someone should have to thrive? Because I took C++. That's how old we are, right? I took a hardcore C++ and AP science class.
In here as well.
And this is when none of the code editors were out, right? You were straight up in DOS prompt doing your little thing. And if a comma was out of place, you were screwed, right? And I said, yo, bro, my attention to detail sucks. I am never going to be a programmer. This is just not me. So I'd love to hear from your perspective. What do you think those skill sets are, and what should people be thinking about if they want to do what you're doing?
So if it's, are you saying like if they want to become a software engineer?
Well, I think not so like black and white pitch. I just like your perspective of what do you think is important now that you went to school for it and you have a professional job in the career, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say like passion to learn is the most important. You're going to be regardless of whatever you're doing, you're going to be learning a ton by yourself. You're going to have to go through documentation. You're going to have to, like, you can watch all the YouTube tutorials you want, but until you actually go and code it, you're not going to understand how it works.
Right.
That's really the biggest thing. It's actually a common phrase within the computer science industry. It's called tutorial hell, and it's referencing people who get stuck just watching YouTube videos and they never actually go and do it. Right? It's like it's a really big problem, and you really don't learn unless you go and start tinkering with it for yourself. Go and reverse engineer something. Go and whatever. Like a lot of people will ask for like projects that they should work on. Like what's the best thing that they should use to learn how to code? And it really is like think of something that you can like think of that would be like cool to you to use, like a tool or a website that you would want to use yourself. Go and build it. That was one of the ways I started learning. I built like a price tracker. So I would hit Binance's API and go and like scrape prices of cryptocurrencies. And I would look for like discrepancies. Like if a flash crash happened, I would like send myself an email. And it's like you start building like Lego blocks on top of each other, like figuring out, okay, I know how to do this now. I know how to do this now. And you start building those on top of each other. I would say that's the biggest part of being an engineer. And then past that, I mean, it's really just I think that's by far the most important thing.
I love it. No, that's a great explanation. Maddie, I'll let you go, man.
Yeah, I mean, so these are all, I think what's important too is just for people to take a step back. Like what you're talking about are just life skills, right? I mean, at the end of the day, what I heard from this is that competence is just greater than credentials, right? I mean, at the end of the day, school's a degree, and we have to use some metric to try to identify what basic training people have. But that's only really relevant for a couple years, in your early
Right.
20s. After
There's
that,
like
it's
to add,
useless.
Go
You
ahead.
know,
like to yeah,
what's up?
to add to your point, like for example, there's a reason why people take GPAs off of their resumes after like your first job, right? Like it's not relevant anymore. And that's like
Correct.
exactly what I can't stress this enough. Like you do not need to go through computer science to be a programmer.
Yeah.
Like
No, and again, with exceptions, right? Because here's the thing, it depends on what you want to do. If you
Mhm.
want to innovate and you want to be able to create, I would agree with you, right? Look, if you just want to do some like run of the mill, get in the cubicle and just grind code, sure, man, go get a comp sci degree and enjoy your $45,000 a year for the rest of your life. And some people, that is like joy for them. They just want a rigid structure and simple or simplicity, I should say. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for the people who, I mean, again, some of the greatest tech giants that have ever existed basically did exactly what you said. They ignored all of the formalized training. By the way, that's true for most geniuses in like any field, right? So yeah, just people have to remember, like, it's not about really your credentials, it's about your competence. And if you're confident, and I don't mean confidence, I mean competence, right? If you are good at something, people will find that, and you are marketable at that point. And I just think that's really important. And we keep going back to mastery, Mike, but I'm telling you, man, the stuff you're talking about, you know, people confuse learning for doing all the time.
Right.
Just because I love how you called it YouTube hell, right? Um, I love watching like motivational talks and things like that on YouTube. It fires me up. The difference is this: I'm listening to it while I'm on a run, while I'm doing things, right? While I am doing the things that the video is about. Does that make sense? Too many people confuse. Oh, yeah. Oh, what do you got going on? Oh man, I'm learning this. I'm learning this. 4 years later, I'm learning this, and it's like if you haven't done anything, no one cares. You know what I
bro,
mean?
like
You're not
Nike,
accomplishing anything, right? You have to actually do things to get
Right.
there.
Right.
And so I think that's a really important, just I like how you went through that process of like, you have to do stuff. And I think that if more people see that, especially, and I'm well in this space too, but in every space, that's ultimately going to be the difference maker. And going back to mastery, if you want to get to 10,000 reps of doing something, you have to start with step number one. And there's no amount of YouTube videos that allow you to take the first step. You have to take the first step. And I just think that that as an overall lesson for people, you know, I think it's really cool because here's what we're seeing. You're seeing the fruit of you doing something rather than you having learned something. Of course, you have to learn it, but you learned it by doing it. And I think that
Right.
that's important to say.
Right.
What were you going to say, Mikey?
No, Oma had something to say.
Oh, what's
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
Mo?
I just want to say, like, one of those things, especially like when it comes to programming, like, if you don't fail, you're not doing it right. Like, you're gonna get an
Yeah.
error. Like, Martin can say this more than anyone, but like, you're gonna get an error. And like, I remember like when I first started like programming and like even coding in general, I would just fucking sit there and look at my import statements, and I have no idea where to fucking begin. That was like, I cannot stress this enough, but coding specifically, all right, maybe even other professions, probably 100% other professions, they have this like aha moment, right? And like coding specifically is like you're starting there, you're sitting there, you're looking at your import statements, you're like, okay, cool, I have these functions to start building my code with, but like, where do I even fucking start?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that, I swear to God, like I had that issue so much in the beginning, and like I can't stress this
Yeah.
enough because I hope this is relatable. But like for people that are going through computer science or people that are going through like any programming course, you are gonna fail. Like not like the course, but you are going to fail when you commit something. So just fucking start somewhere. And let me right now, like Martin said, YouTube University, right? YouTube University is a coined phrase because there's so much education on YouTube that you can use and reference. But more than that, there's Stack Overflow. All right, 90% of code is cut and paste, and if anyone tells you differently, they're fucking lying to you.
We've actually
Yeah, no, I
talked
do
about
not.
this on previous streams, actually.
Yep.
And my mother, not my mother, my family, some of my family have been in, tech their whole life. And we always talk about it's ridiculous the amount of money programmers get paid because they just copy and paste shit. No one thinks for
Yeah.
themselves. Maddie, go ahead. Yeah, it seemed like you
Yeah,
wanted
well, I
to
mean,
add.
that's the tech industry in general. I mean, let's get honest. There's a few people that innovate and everybody else copies, right? I mean, let's talk. And by the way, that's normal. That's any iteration, right? I talked about this on a YouTube video today. You know, everybody like I was responding to the whole Apple and them denying NFTs for their 30% app
Yeah.
charge, and it's like I'm just so tired of people talking about how Apple's an innovative company. I'm like, bro, Apple hasn't innovated a damn thing in 20 years, right? The only thing they innovated was the champagne color on the iPhone. That's it. In the last 20 years, tell me something that's new. Not a damn thing. It's just they come out with a 1 degree of separation from the previous model, and you all get suckered into spending $1,300 for it. It's
Right.
a fantastic business model, but let's stop calling it an innovative tech company, right? It's just
Right.
They
not.
make an ecosystem. It's like I
Yeah,
started out buying just AirPods or an iPhone, and now I'm about to buy a Mac. It's like,
Dude.
yeah, well, and that's funny you said. That's actually what I said.
Genius business.
Their
It's a genius
business model is they made it very easy to join and very difficult to leave, right? You know who else does that? Drug dealers. You know who else does that? Cults. You know what I'm saying? But my point though is that like if you could legalize drug dealing, it's Apple. Do you know what I'm saying? I
Right,
mean
right.
that's what they've done, right?
Right.
Oh, you like you like those iPods? Yeah. Guess what? They link really nice with an iPhone, or it's like all of that stuff gets there. And you're 100% right. I'm not knocking their business. I'm saying their business is genius, right? I'm
Yeah.
just simply saying we can stop calling it innovative. They're not doing anything new, right?
So
And so I think that's like that's everything. And what you were talking about, in terms of computer science and learning a skill, I think that is just learning a skill, right? There's a point where you don't even know you suck at it. There's a point where you've tried it. You went skiing on the bunny hill, realized that on the bunny hill you sucked at it, right? Then there's a point where you have to grind, right? You have to say, "Oh, I don't like this. It's hard and I keep falling down." And get from there to somewhere where if I really concentrate hard, I can ski, right? And I can get down the hill. But if you get distracted at all, or your buddy starts taking a video of you, you're gone, right? You're toast. And somewhere after that, and according to mastery, around 10,000 reps, you get to this point where now you can do it with your eyes closed. You can do it completely unconsciously and still be good at it. And that's where genius starts to happen. That's where you start being able to get creative and things get to flow. And that's just learning any new skill. You want to learn how to play the piano? You're going to go through those phases. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just the way it is. I think that people need to make their peace with that. And ultimately what happened is you stumbled, Martin, but then you kept going and you got to the point where competency occurred, and that's what you're reaping the benefits of. So that's
And I
those are
think
my
you
thoughts.
had something to chime in again.
Oh yeah, dude. I just wanted to say I'm an Apple Maxi like all the way. Like I'm fucking I'm in the cult. I drink the Kool-Aid like everything.
Yeah.
Like the reason why is because there is nobody. So if you want to talk about innovation, there's nobody that makes an ecosystem like Apple makes an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that is my debate point. Like Apple has created such an ecosystem that like I feel so comfortable in it that I cannot leave. And then I agree, it's a
100%.
cult, like, and I drink the Kool-Aid. I drink the fuck out of that Kool-Aid.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
right.
same time, I will also say that like because I did computer sales for like a long time. Like I worked at Best Buy for 3 years during
Sure.
like high school and all that stuff. And I came in like an Android Maxi. I'm like, fuck Apple. Apple, like, fuck everything they do is like 2 years late. And then I sit there and I leave. I'm like, wow, Apple's amazing.
Dude.
And like, let me tell you why. All right, let me drink the Kool-Aid with you. Okay, is one, their ecosystem is fucking phenomenal. All right, there is nobody that makes an ecosystem like Apple does. Every product they design is meant to be a part of that ecosystem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
100%.
Second, their MacBooks are like no other. Longevity wise, there is no such thing as a computer that lives as long as a Mac, in my opinion. And I've seen this, and this is a professional opinion. I will fucking go as far as saying it's a professional opinion. That
Ooh, this is big.
this is a bold statement. Yes, you are fucking right. That is
I'm writing down the timestamp right now to make a video out of this.
This is a fucking valid statement, okay? There is no such fucking computer that lives as long as a MacBook, except, I will get, here's my exceptions. Linux-based systems. But Linux-based systems, what they lack compared to a Mac OS is the fucking ecosystem. All right? Linux does not have an ecosystem. Mac has an ecosystem.
Right.
But Mac is Linux-based. That is what I love about Mac.
Yeah. Yeah.
That base point set everything.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to push back because I'm the Android guy. I'm going to push back here. Everything is by design, right? So
It
my
is.
sister's been I mean, Mike knows, like my sister's had Mac everything for freaking 25 years, right? Everything. And here's the thing. I agree with you about the MacBook, but you have to admit the newest MacBooks are not like the older MacBooks. And here's what it is. Just like Honda, right? Engineer to engineer, you just do it with code. I did it with like metal, right? Honda was known for reliability for a long time, right? But what Honda engineers had to start doing is saying, here's a problem. Why was Ford making more money than Honda? Because Ford's broke at programmable set periods of time with specific parts that were overpriced to be used for repairs.
Mhm.
Honda actually adopted that methodology. So when you talk about an ecosystem, right, they took the most reliable car and said, we need to make it break, right? We need to have certain times when that happens. And you'd be lying to yourself if you don't think that Apple doesn't do that same thing.
So
It is a money extraction machine that's very good. It's very good at what it does. And I will always promote Apple as an unbelievable business system. I will always promote it as that. But it's like, again, my whole thing is people saying it's on the cutting edge. It's not. You're still correct. They're 2 years behind on everything. Although what they make is awesome, right? But it's not like it's going to break the next new technology, which they just showed what they're denying NFTs as an ecosystem, that they want to integrate. So
to push
awesome
back
products.
here, you're talking
Give it
about
to
a
it. Let's
phone.
do this. Are we talking about Apple?
You're talking about a phone.
Hashtag Apple.
You're talking about a phone. Their MacBook Pro towers are next level, and there's not much out there on the market that exists. So you're generalizing based off of a cell phone debate more than anything else. And then I think what you're saying makes sense that yes, Apple innovated brand, Apple innovated an ecosystem, incremental there. You see a lot of the increments in the cell phone, but their computers are just as strong, if not stronger than ever.
So my thing with Apple, right? So like when I did computer sales, like one of the questions I would ask people is like, do you game? Because this is like the key differentiator, right? If you game, I'm not going to recommend you an Apple,
Right.
And like, so my personal desktop is a Windows computer. So I will
Sure.
say that right now. Like my personal desktop is a Windows computer because I do game occasionally and I do require some of that stuff. But when it comes to photo editing, when it comes to design, when it comes to business, when it comes to productivity, and when it comes to fucking ecosystem, there's nobody that matches Apple.
Right.
And then also on top
Yeah.
of that, on top of that, the Apple, like I also worked, so like another portion of my working career, like I worked as so I was like the technical lead at a repair shop for a while. So I repaired computers and I did like all the fucking shits that you would imagine. Like I was the tech lead, so like anytime like they had a problem, they would come to me and I would be the one that would
Yeah.
solve this tech issue.
For sure.
And basically, like I've worked on Macs. They are extremely intricate and the parts do cost a lot of money, but anytime it's their fault, they're covering it. It's not like they're gonna ask you to pay out of pocket, you know?
Sure.
They have their customer service and the brand that they represent, like if there's a problem on their end and they did it, they will replace it 110% of the time. And I cannot say that for any other fucking brand out there.
Yeah.
And then
Dude.
the other thing I will say is that Apple also cares a lot about the design philosophy. And I think the design philosophy has a lot to do with UI, it has a lot to do with UX.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean they really care about how you think about products, right? When you think about the touchscreen, right? I talked to a whole bunch of Apple engineers. I talked to a whole bunch of fucking Apple specialists because, like, you know, I like this is something I was doing. And the question was, you know, are they interested in the touchscreen? Personally, when I get on a Windows device, first thing I do is I go into the device settings and I disable the hardware, the touchscreen drivers. I hate touchscreen. I hate it. I think touchscreen is ridiculous. Um, and the thing with that is like Apple is very much one of those people that like will let a product play out in an ecosystem, wait 2 years. Like again, back to my 2 years thing. They will wait like 2 years. And that's not a set period. They might wait shorter time frame or whatever. But they will wait 2 years, see how widely this is adopted, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna make a product that's actually a perfect fit for this market.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what their design methodology is. They're like,
Again,
why would I create it when I can perfect it?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why
I'm
get
not.
the creation?
Remember, only thing I'm saying is they're not tech innovators. Period. Case closed.
Sure.
That's the only bad thing I'm saying. I said everything
They,
else they're doing good, but the whole tech innovation thing is
they
left for
created
people who are
smartphones.
willing to take more risks.
I'd
They
still argue
created.
that, but
I'm still
listen,
arguing.
let's
They created.
let's digress
Comfortable with a
because
lot
we're
of that
here to
stuff.
talk about wallet
Yeah,
guard
I want to
and
hear about Wallet Guard. Dude,
NFTs. Great 15-minute detour, knowing that we're on a time crunch.
that's what you
But
do when you have campfire discussions, Miguel.
Don't worry about
dude,
the time crunch. I'll figure that out later.
dude,
Seriously.
I'll tell you what, and Martin, when we meet up in NFT NYC or LA, we're gonna keep on talking Apple, and we're gonna have a great freaking time. I know this.
Gotcha. But if you need to take good pictures, my Pixel will take care of it.
Dude, you sound like my fucking dad. My dad is like the Samsung Maxi of the family. There's 8 of us in a family group chat, and this motherfucker will come out with this fucking Samsung and will be like, "Hey, look at my fucking camera." Like, all right, nobody gives a fuck about your satellite. Right?
Just
We can
saying,
I
just
love
saying.
it.
NFT NYC, Mikey had a lot of pictures, and whose did we have to use? We had to
I'm
use the
not-
Google Pixels pictures.
I'm not
Just
gonna
saying.
lie. Multiple times at NFT NYC. Listen, the only reason I have an iPhone is because everyone else I know has it. Other than that,
You got to, man. Yeah, it's once you're in
but
it, you have to
yes,
stay.
absolutely. When we were like, "Hey, dude, we need to take footage for MLC," I'm like, "Matt, get that Pixel out because that's looking real nice." So here's the next thing I want to move into. By the way, one of the more entertaining side debate chats we've had on this show. So I
Right?
appreciate
I love
that.
it. I love it.
And since the Apple, by the way, I'm assuming it's someone from your community, his name, or they just found our chat, Demetrio. Is that part of your team or someone from your community? Well, they found us online.
Well, community, yes. Part of our team now.
Okay, so part of your community, he's here. And he says, you might need a little intervention based on Apple. That's all I'm saying. So you can pick that up in the Discord.
This is a conversation that we'll do another time. Just because I know we wanted to get into different chunks of conversation, but this is fantastic, gentlemen. I'm having a fantastic time talking about this stuff. So
Dude, I
thank you.
love it.
That's good.
We're having a blast too. So since we had the passionate Apple Maxi of talking, I'm gonna go to you, Martin, and I would love to hear your version of, because now we did a good. I mean, we could go a lot more on Star Wars Episode 1, 2, 3, but we got moving along. So I think we're at
Yeah.
the point where you met in college. Take us along really the NFT Web3 journey. We don't want to get to Wallet Guard quite yet. Let's hear
Okay.
your NFT Web3 journey, and then obviously talk about you and Ohm building a friendship, relationship, and ultimately a business partnership.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I was saying earlier, I've been in crypto since 2017.
Yeah.
I was pretty much just like trading altcoins back and forth like through most of 2017, 2018, doing a lot of research into projects. I actually had my own YouTube channel for a little bit where I
Nice.
like bringing back that into that Omize Go example
Right.
of like that first altcoin. I actually did a video on that. That was like my very first YouTube video, and it was like I just did like I think I just published it. It was like 8 minutes long. I didn't know anything about crypto. It's like like you guys said it earlier, like the Dunning Kruger effect, I think it's called, where you're like, yeah, I know everything, and I like posted it, and it was it got like 110,000 views now at this point,
Wow.
and I think I might have to credit myself a little bit for like bringing Omize Go to the masses. Like that's my contribution to adoption here in Web3.
Nice.
A
But,
fucking dumb coin, Martin. Fuck you. I love you.
but yeah, no, it's been a wild ride. I think like I always thought like that, like I was saying earlier, the whole internet community thing was like really interesting to me
Mhm.
since like early age, and like NFTs was really when it's like manifested itself, and it's like this is like how that mass adoption happens.
Right.
So I guess I'll cut it there, just since we don't want to get into wallet guard. But yeah, I love NFTs. Like if I remember actually funny story about that. Like when I was getting like learning about NFTs like earlier last year, whatever it was. Like I remember calling like my brother about it. Like when I had the aha moment, I was like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere, and it was like right then that I knew I wanted to like really start building something. I wasn't sure what it was yet,
Right.
and so that seems like a good point to leave off at.
Well,
Okay.
kind of to follow up on that real quick is, what was that kind of initial NFT journey for you? Do you have projects that you kind of
Yeah,
reminisce about? Were
yeah, oh yeah.
did you love the Discord grind? That it comes in different forms for people, right? I'd
I'm
love
a
to hear that.
builder straight up. Yeah, no, I'm a builder from like square one, right? So it's like I was actually building another project. It was a multiplayer trading game. So
Okay.
like imagine like a Bitcoin chart would show up in front of you, and you could trade it with your friends.
Yeah.
Um, I was building like a prototype for that. But I think like really the like I love coding and building, so like that's like for me what motivates me is like getting to see something that I personally like worked on in production, people using it, right?
Right.
So like I think the biggest difference between this was called Trade Fighter, by the way. It didn't go anywhere. Just spoiler alert. Um, but I think it taught me like that this entire time I was just like building one more feature, one more feature. This will take off if I just get it to there.
Hmm.
But I think the biggest thing reminiscing, I guess, on it is the marketing side. Is I never got it in front of like the right person, right?
Right.
It was just like um I think like going to bat for like learning how to sell things is like where I realized that my like I was a one man team, so like there was only so much I could do, right? But it was
Hmm.
like that was my biggest takeaway. I was like, if this is gonna fail, it's gonna be because of me, but it's gonna be like like I just took ownership of it, right? Like you need to as an entrepreneur, and it's like like I felt really good about the idea, right? But it was like if you can't sell it, like no one's gonna care, right? Like so I think being passionate about it like was great, but I think like the biggest shift for Wallet Guard is like having Ohm. Like Ohm will go and do all these things that I like. Our skills balance perfectly in that matter. So that's like absolutely the reason I reached out to Ohm when we first started thinking about Wallet Guard. Um, and just to like speak on that a little bit, like we saw lots of scams happening. Like security was natural to us because we had seen it being um, like being on the internet, video games and stuff like that. But for other people, it's not like natural to them, right? So I think that was like really what we like our key market like insight, right? Was that security is really important to us. It's really important to Web3 adoption.
Yeah.
And we need a way to get that to the masses.
Right. No, I love that, man. And thanks for that explanation. I'm going to let you kind of pile on to all of that insight and take us into, kind of, since we're just to be cognizant of time, we got about 25 minutes left. So I want to hear your, condensed Web3 journey and then kind of roll into what Martin was just saying about, all great businesses come from solving a problem, right? And there's a massive problem in this space with security. So I'd love to hear your take, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my crypto journey started in my hacker-esque days, my non-hacker-esque days. I should re-clarify, but it started back.
Wait, hold on. You're a script kiddie at this point, right? I just wanted to use that term. That's all.
Dude,
You did it.
well done, sir.
You did it fucking phenomenally. Okay, I would say job execution was perfect. Mwah,
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you.
But I would say I started my crypto journey in 2014 because of like my involvement and like understanding of like security at the time. And like when crypto really started, you have to take it back like all the way. All right. When crypto really started, it started with the initiative of privacy and security. All
Mhm.
right. That's where it really fucking started.
Right.
So like it was all over like my script kiddie forums and like all this shit. And that's where I really learned about like crypto. And like trust me, like that's 2014. 2014 is when I really got into crypto, or like,
Mhm.
sorry, that's when my intro to crypto happened. When I really got into crypto was 2017, and I will say a lot of that spark was reignited by Martin. So, sorry, a couple of belches that I didn't want to do out loud.
It's all good.
But so 2014 is when it really started. Like as far as like my learning and understanding of crypto and like what it was and like just in an infancy stage, right? So I was interested in it. You have to consider 2014 what that's so it's like what 6 years ago. So 6 years, I was probably what
8.
8 years ago.
like yeah, so 17, 18. I was like that was my age at that time.
Yeah.
Not really like mature, not really understanding much, but
Right.
like I was exposed to crypto. That was
Yeah.
when I was first exposed. Um, 2017 is when I dove deep into it when Bitcoin first and like Ethereum first had its like actual run. That's when I was like, all right, I'm in on this shit or whatever. And this time like you also have to understand like 2014 between 2014 and 17, that was like where I was like thinking about like I was listening to random YouTubers on like just random YouTubers, right? Telling me what coin was gonna go next. That was
Mhm.
2017. So just to get full transparency into that, that's where I was in my knowledge of like what crypto and what that whole ecosystem was. So I don't want to sound like when I say like I was exposed to 2014, yes, it was early,
Right.
but I wasn't like mature. My
Mhm.
brain first off wasn't mature. Second off, I wasn't mature in understanding what a market was, what an immature market was,
Right.
what we're building towards. Like that stuff didn't matter to me. I was just looking at YouTubers and I was just following what they said.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's the phase I was in. So 2017 came around. That's when I really got involved in crypto. Started really deep diving. Started really understanding what the fuck was going on.
Mhm.
2021 and 2022 is really the years where I was like, holy shit, this is what I'm gonna do. I want to be working a Web3 job. That's when I had that realization, like 2021. And then Martin approached me with an idea, right? He's like, listen, bro, like, cause both of us got into NFTs. I want to say similar time period. So for me personally, it was September 2021. Okay.
Right.
So
And
Wicked Ape,
had you been kind of just like periodically talking, or were you just like
I was
investing in
fuck, I was
NFTs
fucking
together?
I know this was me. This was me. NFTs, fuck you. That that was me 2021. All right.
Okay.
So like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, this is a foreign concept. Who the fuck spends money on JPEGs?
Right.
That literally, like, that was my mindset at that time. And then I got exposed to it, really started learning about it, really started seeing the use cases of what a non-fungible token is.
Hmm.
Fuck profile pictures. All right. I'm
Right.
not talking pictures. I saw the use cases that I'm talking about, like when you take a trade on a derivatives exchange, for example, that
Right.
is a transaction. That is an NFT. An NFT is a receipt.
Right.
That when I heard that analogy, that's when it really clicked for me. Like NFTs are so much more than just fucking profile pictures.
Hmm.
To be honest with you, this might be an unpopular opinion. Profile pictures, a lot of them are going to go to zero. Okay, that is my honest
No,
opinion.
we'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, so like my honest opinion is profile pictures, the majority of them gonna go to zero. But the ones that are innovating, the ones that are creating new things, they will do fine, fantastic because people want something to associate their identity with online, and that is what profile pictures are, right? Like you even see my PFP in this Discord. I know unfortunately people on YouTube won't be able to see that, but my profile picture in Discord is like some random NFT. Well, not random. I like the projects. I'm not gonna call it random. I like the project, so it is a product. I'm not gonna shill. So it's some like sci-fi anime project. I don't even watch anime. First off, let me just clarify. I don't watch, but I think the art is awesome. Um, but in general, that is where like I finally had like an aha moment where it was like, yo, NFTs are more than just a profile picture.
Hmm.
And that's where I really started diving deep into it. And then right around January, so about like, let's say, what, 4 months into my journey. Well, Martin had reached out to me initially, to be very honest, initially, like we had talked about it probably December 2021.
Hmm.
2021 January is when it really went into inception. So like personal story, um 2021 December, I was in India for a family friend's wedding.
Hmm.
Um we were in India, like we ended up making a family trip out of it. So we were there for 5 weeks. Okay. So like I get back, it's probably January, Martin, what do we agree? January 14th, 15th?
Yep.
Yeah, so January 15th, that's when the idea really started kicking off. I was reaching out to my friends, my developer friends, like people that I went to college with and stuff, and like really passing the idea by them and seeing if it resonated with them. But it
Right.
didn't. It didn't resonate with them.
Hmm.
And I'm like, it really resonated with me because Martin reached out to me after, like, he went on a Twitter space, really. So, Martin, I would rather you tell the story because it's not my story to tell. So, Martin, you want to tell that quick story before I go into the rest of this?
I'm excited about the Twitter space story.
Okay, so like I guess I preface this part with like I was like the dev, right? I was like in dev mode like, on my previous project that I was like scared to death to reach out to people and talk about like my vision for where like some of these tools could go, right? And so what I actually did, like there was a scam going on of like, OpenSea had a phishing scam, and I think over like $2 million in that one hack got taken. And so what I like jumped on in front of 1,000 people, which like me is I was like scared to death, right? I'm
Yeah.
like walking around my room shaking, and I'm like just walking around pacing, and I just talked about like solving the problem. It seemed realistic at the time, like, and what I didn't realize was how deep a rabbit hole phishing could be. But I just like pitched an idea of getting started, right? Like a V0 of what can we do to stop hacks like this from happening.
Right.
It became inherently obvious that scams were on the rise. Everyone was seeing them. They were impersonating OpenSea, and people were falling for them, unfortunately. So that's really where the idea came from. There was immense feedback, like overwhelmingly positive feedback. Like 50 people on Twitter followed me from that space alone, and it was like got a couple DMs from it as well. And it was like that was that was absolutely the defining moment for Wallet Guard.
Oh, I love it, and that is a very tangible proof of concept right there.
Yeah, so to build on that, right? Martin reaches out to me. He knows that I have a security background. He also knows I have a computer science background. So like I'm technical, I understand security, and this is the area that I'm like willing to operate in. And like funny enough, Martin and I don't say this enough, like especially on spaces like this or like podcasts like this, for example, because like we don't get the opportunity. But like Martin reached out to me and he says, something along the lines, I can't remember the exact wording, but like something along the lines of like, phishing scams are a problem in Web3. We can create a solution. I'm like, okay, fuck yeah. I'm not a developer. I know how to develop. I'm not a developer. Like I got offered so many developing jobs, but like that was not my passion. Like, and we already talked about my passion, so I'm not going to go into that, but like that was not my passion, so I turned down all those job offers to do developing because I knew that I would have serious burnout. And even at this still moment, right? Like I do very like minutes compared to what Martin does. Like I do like this much. Martin does like all this. Like when it comes to developing, and it for me, like I had that realization, right? And I'm like, now that I think about it, there are a fuck ton of scams. I just ignored them because that's my security OPSEC, right? Like I had an OPSEC when I came into Web3, and I'm like, I'm a security conscious person, right? I'm a paranoid person, and paranoid in the regards of security. And I came in with that understanding, and Martin like enlightened me to like kind of see what the consumer end of things were. And like the funny thing is, like Martin and I in college, like we've had this conversation where we were sitting there fucking drunk as fuck, walking to like, I think it was the Kent State Flash Fest. We were going to some Flash Fest, which is like, so what that means is like Kent State used to have like a once in a year event where they would bring in some random big artist of that fucking year or whatever. Fuck that shit. Who gives a fuck? But either way, they brought in some like random fucker dude, and Martin and I were trash as fuck. We're like, I love you, bro, drunk, and we're like, we want to build a company
I
together,
love this.
and we want to build a company together, and like we always talked about it, like because I always loved his like sense and technology direction, and like even that like technology business direction, right? And I'm not sure exactly what Martin saw in me, but like maybe we can go into that. But like in general, but we had this thought that we're like, we want to build a company together, and we didn't know what it was. We didn't act on it for years, and then like 5 years pass. This was 2017, by the way. So
Right.
2017, same year, like I went backpacking and all that shit.
Right.
Same year, drunk as fuck in college, degenerate, like absolute degenerate,
Right.
and and 5 years fast forward, Martin comes to me, or well, 4 years. 4 years fast forward, Martin comes to me with this idea, and I'm like, damn, this is a pretty good idea. And like, because I was involved in the NFT space at this time, like 3 months, 4 months, right? So I
Right.
had experience, I understood, I went through the whole like, so full context, because this is not something like I try to hide about my past, but like, I basically I like helped run a project. I didn't really, so full disclosure, I got paid like $500. Okay. All right. So like literally like zero. Like this is comparison to like what Web3 projects pay people for
Right.
advisors, like zero. And and the reason I did it was my uncle's company. He's a very cool dude. I love my uncle to death. He runs this company with a couple other people called Live Mixtapes, and they like sign artists, and they do a lot of stuff in the music industry. I've done a lot of cool stuff in my life because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a super dope dude. Love the dude to death. Will never fucking say anything else about him. But either way, he approached me. Their company, Live Mixtapes. All right. 26, or I'll give you a little bit of context. 2006, they were the streaming platform. They were the ones that brought Future. Like they brought I don't even 2 Chainz Future. There's interviews of him talking about my uncle, like bringing him to the music industry and all this shit. And my uncle is like gab, gab, gab. Okay, my uncle can fucking talk his ear off, talk anyone's ear off, and like be logical the entire time,
Right.
and salesman the entire time. All right, which is a valuable skill. Like when I talk to my uncle, I still talk to my uncle like about business decisions to this day, and
Mm-hmm.
it's because man has the fucking gift of gab, okay? And like he knows how to talk.
Right.
And that's who I like learned how to talk from. Like my dad has an extremely good business acumen, because he comes from the banking world and he's pretty high up in the banking world, and that's where like
Mhm.
my business acumen comes from. But like the gift of gab really comes from my uncle. All
Yep.
right. So like very close with my uncle, and at this time, like he approached me with a project. His one of his rappers that he works with, Montana F300, they made an NFT called Rap Gods NFT. I tried to advise them as much as possible. Their mint price was super cheap, so like I don't even feel bad about it. It was 0.01 ETH. Okay,
Right.
so like
We're getting off on a little bit of a tangent here.
yeah, just a little bit, but like either way, it was
Yeah,
that's where.
we got 15 minutes, so we'll keep on going.
I'll do my best. Okay. So basically, either way, there's an NFT project that launches, right? And we sell like 500 out of like 3,000 NFTs. The community to this day still goes strong, by the way. But like either way, all I was really in charge of was like the Twitter and like the security for the Discord, which they never had any issues. But anything like that, that's what my involvement with that project was. And that's where I first got my exposure to understanding what like the entrepreneurship slash like understanding of what an NFT project was.
Right.
And where I got a deep understanding of it. And then like that was right around the time that Martin and I were like, let's go full go on Wallet Guard, right? And that's where I was like, okay, I have an understanding how NFT projects work. I have an understanding of the market and all this stuff. So that I was like, let's fucking go. And we built this project, and basically Wallet Guard was designed to combat scams in Web3 because we saw it as such an apparent problem. Their scams are prevalent everywhere. Like I'm talking Twitter, and Twitter specifically is like where the Web3 demographic like goes towards.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where we leaned into specifically. So that's why like Wallet Guard has a following. Specifically because we delivered educational content and really like trying to bring users to understand what security was before we introduced them to security tooling. So like if I talk about what an internal marketing plan looks like for us, it's like one, we love being educators, but two, we also built tooling. So like we can be educators and literally teach people what the security risk in Web3s are, but we can at the same time build tooling that can prevent people from getting scammed so they can have like a safety net while they're learning
Right.
Web3 security.
Right.
So that's
So
where
let's
Wall really came from. So I'll let you guys dive into questions now because Martin, as you're 100% right, we do have time constraints. So I'm sorry.
No, this is awesome. Like, listen, I wish we had more time because this is really what this is about, right? To give you a platform to tell your story, to tell things that are meaningful and impactful for you. Unfortunately, we just have the time constraint. And so, Maddie, what were you gonna say to kind of
I was gonna
encapsulate
say
this?
I want to boil that down into like an
Yes.
elevator pitch.
So
That's really what I want to. So
yeah,
go
and
ahead,
so
Mike.
this is what we kind of ask there, towards the end. Wallet Guard, and whoever wants to take it, 2 to 3 minute pitch. I'm in an elevator. We're going to the 10th, 15th floor, and you are excited to tell me about what you guys are doing. What is that?
Sure, I'll take this one.
Yeah, you got it.
Wallet Guard is the end-to-end security solution for the wallet of your choice. And what that means is we have several layers that we're detecting scams on. Right now, it's the URL level. That's where a lot of these impersonation attempts happen. You click on a bad link through Discord, you click on a bad link through Twitter, you are putting your assets at risk if your wallet security is not proper, right? So this is a huge problem in Web3. Over 7 billion has been stolen in the last year, just in phishing scams alone. Like these are people's life savings. People are putting their life savings in browser extensions at the current state. One of the things we preach a lot is around having ledgers, having cold wallets, hot wallets, having a proper strategy about your security hygiene, right? Because hackers, unfortunately, are getting better by the day. These scams are working, and they're going to keep working until people have better measures in place to prevent this. One of the biggest things is to be harder to hack than the person next to you, by far. if you have an extra tool or an extra step that a hacker has to take, it's not just like a 1% improvement, it's an 80% improvement. It's like an 80-20 rule, right? That hacker is not going to put in the effort because unfortunately, it just is so much low hanging fruit for them right now in Web3.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
Yeah, I know.
Makes
I love it.
That's
I think
there's
I
there's
think
a
you
lot
nailed
there.
that. And so we're just gonna have to have you back on to, or you know what we can do is I would love to make a YouTube series with you guys to talk about the ins and outs of what Wallet Guard are doing. We actually have one or two more questions for you. We lied in the beginning. They're very simple questions.
Mike, let me ask. I have two quick things.
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure everybody understands and break down Wallet Guard here. So the beginning of this is really just this. Everybody that's in this space knows, at least if it hasn't been them, they know somebody who's clicked on a bad link,
It can happen to anyone, man.
right?
Yeah.
So ultimately,
I
Wallet
did.
Guard prevents that.
Yes.
Yes.
And it does that by the whole getting chased by a bear method, which is you don't have to be the fastest person, you just can't be the slowest person. Right?
Well,
I
yes.
love that analogy.
So the one thing that I would say no to is like the beauty of Wallet Guard is we take a proactive approach. We build heuristics that are around preventing scams in real time, right? Like I can go to fucking Twitter and pull up a random link and click on it, right? And I'll get the Wallet Guard warning, and that's because we do it proactively. It's not something that we have to do reactively. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely reactive methods that we utilize, like block listing, but that's more so on a confirmed scam basis, right?
Right.
Got it.
And the
Okay.
beauty of Wallet Guard is that the heuristics we've built out allow you to like basically I'm not advocating for this. So like when I say this, I'm not advocating for it, but you can click on random links. Like we will do our best to like try and protect you. Now, are we 100%? No. Is anyone 100%? Absolutely.
Nothing is.
Right.
And if anybody ever tells you that, they're fucking lying to you.
You're right. Right.
So I will tell you with
Yeah.
absolute
But low
honesty.
hanging fruit. That's what
Yeah,
you said.
exactly.
It's just
We
don't
take-
be the slowest person. You don't
Yeah.
have to be the fastest person. Just don't be the slowest person. I
Right.
got it. No,
Right.
I got it. Okay, good. So that helps me kind of encapsulate the quick version of why this is something that's valuable. Okay, go ahead, Mikey. You were going on with the questions.
Yeah, and then just I think to the both of you, the next 2, let's say to 3 minutes, I'll start with you, Martin, and then you can go people that are listening right now, what does the next 6 months look like for Wallet Guard, and what are kind of some thoughts that you want to put in their head leaving this amazing conversation that we just had?
Yeah, that's a great question. As it stands, we have a lot of exciting things in the next 6 months. Right now, we just launched our security dashboard, a huge feature that allows you to see exactly like what types of links you're clicking on, and any recent security alerts. So one of the great features is allowing you to see exactly what your wallet versions are, if they're up to date. So if your MetaMask or Phantom's out of date, it'll let you know right through this dashboard. And then on the future side of things, we have transaction simulation coming as well. And for anyone who's not aware, transaction simulation is a way to show you what's going in and out of your wallet before you do a transaction. So it allows you to do basically human readable forms of the transaction. And then we have several like back end things that we're working on to improve our phishing detection, and really build in like machine learning to all these solutions, because at the end of the day, phishing is a really hard problem to solve, and so you need a lot of understanding of the problem, and we're really excited to start working on some of these things. We have a lot of things that are in the pipeline that are going to take our phishing detection to the next level.
Dude, I love it. And that all sounds like much needed. And honestly, the most ironic part is before you go, we just had 69girls.xyz put some links in our chat.
Hey man, we probably blocked, to be honest with you.
So as we're talking about fraudulent and ridiculous links, they're populating in our chat. Same for you. Couple minutes to anything to add on to what Martin just said about the future or things that you want the audience to really leave with about Wallet Guard.
Yeah, so at the most simple form that I can put it, Wallet Guard is an end-to-end personal security companion for Web3. So what we did is we designed a tool that's really going to be your best friend throughout Web3 and going to prevent you from getting scammed. That is what Wallet Guard is, okay? Wallet Guard not only operates at the browser level, but eventually will operate. And when I say eventually, I mean within the next like 2 to 6 months. All right, not like the end. Okay, so 2 to 6 months is because like we have a huge feature set that we're working on, but we will have like some MVPs of the product that we're trying to develop out sooner than later. But realistically, to just hone in on exactly what your question was, we are building an end-to-end security suite. That is the vision. The vision is to build an end-to-end security suite that delivers a personal experience of security in Web3. And what we aim to do is really basically let you click on whatever the fuck you want, man. Like, because
Right.
that's natural instinct. That's human instinct to click on whatever the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be there for you to stop you from like clicking on something too malicious, right?
Right.
Like if you on some random degen shit, I can't tell you how many times I've degened, right? And I've been fortunate enough to never have been scammed yet. It's fortunate. Again, knock on wood. Like I've not been scammed, but that does not mean I cannot get scammed either.
Right.
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 I don't want people to think that that's what I'm trying to say. And really what I'm trying to hone in on is that like anyone can get scammed, and what WalletGuard is doing is building a tool that's going to make it even harder for you to get scammed. And at the end of the day, like Martin iterated, that at the end, like what we want to do is make you a harder target than the next person, and that's what WalletGuard is at its true core.
Love it, dude. Thanks for that concise
Yeah,
explanation
good answer.
too. All right, we have 2 minutes, so you both got basically a minute. We usually ask a couple questions, but we're going to ask one, and this is very easy. But you, like you both said, have done hundreds of ANAs. We are really interested to hear your insights on how you thought this show went, the format, any feedback for us, because we just peppered your ass with a ton of questions. So I'll let you go first, Martin, and then you can close it out.
Hey man, you guys gave us the freedom to go wherever we wanted with this conversation, and you dug deep on a lot of the insights that we were saying. So huge props to you guys. This is an awesome podcast. I would love to come back on.
I love it, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest things is like, we've done so many security spaces, and like they used to like in the beginning go for like 3 hours, and then now they go for like an hour, maybe 2 hours. And like what I want to say is that like as much as I love security spaces, I've never had an experience where I get to talk about myself and my personal journey. So I've really appreciated that. And I cannot wait to come back on your podcast again. And I just want to say that, we're excited. We're building fucking amazing things. And I cannot tell you how excited I am for the future. And we will definitely be back here. And I will tell you that we will be, Wallet Guard all the way. And we'll all Wallet Guard all the way.
I'm excited.
Love
And I'm
it.
glad I got to see you. Maddie, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to shut it down from your thoughts and perspectives.
Yeah, I'll be quick, man. This was awesome. I loved this. I cannot wait to make some YouTube content with you guys. I think we're gonna have a ton of fun. I think it'll be a great conversation. We can come in with like a list of maybe some questions or whatnot that are common ones and just hammer those out. And I know we're gonna get fantastic responses.
Yeah.
But this has been great, man. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. I love what you guys are doing. The bottom line is this. Like I said, if it wasn't the person that's listening to this right now or ourselves, we know somebody who has. We've all clicked on a bad link, man. It sucks. And some of the stories are brutal. And just like you said, life savings gone. The idea that somebody says, let's get in the way of that, that is the kind of problem you solve and you can sleep good at night. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
props to you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and I'll add in real quick, gentlemen. When I talked to you, I knew it was going to be a great conversation. Sure enough, it was. We drank whiskey, we drank wine, we drank beer. I look at this as we started a 2-hour plus friendship online. Can't wait to build that, grow that. We'll continue to make content. You guys got to show the internet who you are as people. You're genuine dudes. And these are the type of people that whoever watches this wants to surround your Web3 portfolio, with and people to surround yourself with. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And with that being said, we're winding this son bitch down. The rest of the week we're off. Mike G has a family obligation, some weddings to deal with, so he's going to be gone out of commission. Next week, believe it or not, we have the person that owns the rights to National Lampoon's franchise. You like Christmas Vacation? I got a guy that owns it. Come by, stop by. We're going to have a fun conversation about comedy and NFTs. And community, you should be damn happy. You asked for it. I'm delivering. We got the founder of Operation Sin coming on the week after. We're going to talk Llamaverse, Operation Sin, and all the fun things that can happen there. We freaking love you all. We cannot wait to see you next week.